You guys spend more time in the duck house than the ducks. You guys want to hear something crazy? It's not even the end of January yet, and it's time to look at piglets. Come on. So here at the Mindful Homestead, we raise forest pastured pigs, and we raise them in the woods out behind our house. We've got a whole bunch of oak and beech out there, and it provides some great food for the pigs in addition to the grain that we feed them personally. And so far we've done really well with having your standard Yorkshire landrace pigs out there, which are your standard commercial breeds. We're raising them in a slightly different manner than they're used to, but it's worked out well because we've made some changes to how we want to do things. This year, on the other hand, we're switching things up a little bit, and we made the call that for 2021, we're going with heritage breed hogs. This should do a couple things. One, it's going to increase their ability to forage and find their own food out there. Not that the Yorkshire land races couldn't do that, but this is just going to increase the ability for them to find their own food, which is awesome for us as far as we're concerned. A problem that we're running into, though, is that with the pandemic that's going on in the world and all this other crazy stuff, a lot more people have gotten into raising their own food. And what we've seen is that piglets have become scarce. I mean, last spring piglets were really hard to find. We had to get them from a different source than usual. This year it's even more of an issue. So I've been sowing seeds early, no pun intended on the gardening thing, to try and get piglets locked down. We've got some Gloucestershire Old Spots from a local homestead. They have some awesome breeding stock, and their feeders are reasonably priced. So I think we're going to get a few of those to try out. I got the farm foreman here with me today, and we are going to look at some piglets now, which are Berkshire Duroc crosses, which should also be another awesome cross. So we're going to take you along with us, and we're going to talk a little bit over the rest of the video about how we raise pigs and how that differs from commercial raised pigs, and then even what you might find at a regular farm with a slop raised or a barnyard raised pig. So let's get on the road. So she's mellowed right out after a beer, huh?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, there's Mama.
Mommy?
That's a mommy pig, not Mama. Oh, see him? Yeah, babies. Oh, they're very cute.
You know, for being, half Berkshire and half a Duroc.
Yep.
So many of them all look like Duroc.
Yep. Yeah, a lot of red ones in there.
Yeah.
This was the first. You said you had two coming?
Another one coming, yeah.
A little bit later.
Yeah, about 3 weeks. 3 weeks a month.
Good mom, huh? You figured it out.
Yeah, she figured it out. It just took a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's Steve behind me, and this is Sue. They are some of the folks that we're getting our pigs from this year. They did Berkshire Duroc crosses, which are a great cross. You've got all the great fat production of a Berkshire pig, but then on the Durocs, you've got some great intramuscular fat. They're relatively fast growing. So looks like an awesome cross to me. I think we're going to go with some of their pigs for sure. What do you think, Em? This is Boris, he's the dad. And this is Cream, right? And Peaches is the other one. Hey, give off the hoodie, come on. He's the dad of the pigs that we're gonna be getting. And Cream is going to be the mom. The ones that are upstairs, they're Peaches. And we're going to be waiting a little bit later for the second litter. That way, all the pigs that we're getting can kind of come up from the same age. Back on the homestead. Actually going to head out to the pig pasture where we had them this year. Do a little talking. I like Steve's piglets. We're definitely going to go with some. I told him before I left that we would definitely take at least 4 out of his next litter, possibly 5. We're still not 100% on how many pigs we're going to do next year. We're right out behind the house right now, and you can see we've got a coyote track here, and then these are wild turkey tracks, and they're both fresh and going the same way. Coyote tracks are real fresh. That's another turkey track right there. That's a big turkey. That's a real big turkey. Coyotes will follow rafters of turkeys. That's what a group of turkeys is called, a rafter, not necessarily a flock. They'll follow them around here, and they'll make good meals for them virtually all winter long because there's so many turkeys. We'll just have to keep an eye on it, and hopefully the coyotes don't attack the chickens, which you can see are right over my shoulder there. Knock on wood, we haven't had any issues with predators there. We're probably going to have them now that I said that. So we take a lot of effort in choosing our breeds of pigs, because where you see me right now is where we raise our pigs. We raise our pigs on pasture in the forest, and they're getting a grain ration, but they're also using all of this woods to forage and look for things that they can eat. Breeds of pigs will do different things when they're out on pasture. Some pigs will root really heavily. Some pigs will just root to root. Some pigs will root because they're looking for food. Some pigs won't root at all. A lot of grazing pigs, as they're called, coonies, IPPs, things like that, they just kind of eat grass. They don't really dig into the dirt. A lot of your commercial hogs are bred for being raised purely on grain and purely on essentially what are concrete surfaces. That's not something we do. It's the exact opposite of what we're trying to do with our pigs. But that is how most commercially raised pork is grown. It's raised so that they are just eating grain. They're living on concrete floors. And that's where you get that really kind of gross looking white plain pork that you see in the grocery store. Honestly, I don't even like to talk about that. I don't want to glorify it. Yes, it feeds a ton of the world, but it's not what we should be doing with pork. Then you've got what I call your standard farmer raised pork, which is going to be raised in an area similar to this. Might be a barnyard. They'll have a barn where the pigs can go for shelter. Obviously, we have that little shelter that you see behind me. But this type of pork is the next best thing you can get as far as I'm concerned. These pigs will have open areas to run. They might not be out on grass, but they'll be out in an area where they can move around and they get sunlight, they get grain fed. They're happy pigs. They're definitely good to go. You'll also see a lot of farmers raising their pigs on food scraps and slop from maybe not only their own farm, but other restaurants and things like that. A lot of people will do that. A lot of people think it's okay. Personally, I don't like feeding our pigs any food scraps that come from a random place that we don't know anything about. Even the food scraps that they get from us, they're not getting any meat. It's all going to be fruits and vegetables and what's available to them from our diet that are leftovers. Pigs will eat almost anything, and a lot of people take advantage of that. We don't want food going into our body to have eaten stuff that we have no control over. You'll also see in here, you know, grain-fed pigs. You'll see milk-fed pigs. If a farmer has a small dairy operation and they have surplus milk, they may feed milk to those pigs. That is excellent pork as far as I'm concerned. A grain and milk-fed pig is an awesome pig. And then you get into your forest-raised pork, which is what you see our paddock looking like behind us. This is what we feel is the best way to raise pork and what yields the best product. You've got acorns coming down from the trees. You've got grubs in the ground, earthworms, bugs, all sorts of small vegetation that the pigs are able to take advantage of. And while you may grow pigs slower in a situation like this than if you had just fed them grain from a bucket, you're getting a much more nuanced and developed pork. The pigs that we've been raising the last few years, even though we're switching breeds this year and we're definitely changing things, we've been raising just commercial crosses. But if you put our pork next to a commercially raised pig that you would see in the grocery store, it's leaps and bounds better. And it's not just me saying it as the person raising it, but it's what our customers have told us as well, and why our customers come back year after year. We've got our pile of slash right over there, along with some of the pallets from the old shelter that we had that way. We've got to burn that sometime soon, maybe. I'd like to burn it with snow still on the ground. I think I've got plenty of time to do that, but this winter is almost turning in like the winter that wasn't. It's January and we've got less than a foot of snow on the ground. So yeah, we are already getting into the 2021 pig season. I told Steve before we left that we would definitely take 4 pigs, possibly 5, and I think we're gonna do 4 old spots. So that would give us 8 pigs over the 6 that we did this year. That works out. We've had a couple people reach out that I wanna get into pork that haven't been able to buy from us in the past because we've been sold out. So that would, it's 2 half shares there. That would make up the 7th pig. And then Jackie and I have talked about doing a 2nd pig for us this year, which would be strictly a sausage and charcuterie pig. I want to try my hand at prosciutto. I want to try my hand at making some salamis and curing my own bacon and things like that. I don't want to take that chance on our main pig. The main reason being there, you know, those things take time. Prosciutto can take up to 18 months, over 18 months. It could take up to like 4 or 5 years. And a lot of those cured meats, things can go wrong and you might not necessarily get 100% yield out of it. So if I'm going to do those sorts of projects, I want to have an extra pig, essentially have a buffer where I know there's meat in the freezer that's good to eat, but also I can experiment with preserving this meat some other way besides just sticking it in a freezer. Make sure to hit that subscribe button down below if you're into what we're doing on the channel. Thanks for watching, everybody, and have a great day. Bye.